Hi guys, this is Val with Living Divine. If you are new to the channel, welcome. And if you've been here before, well, welcome back. I've gotten a lot of comments in reference to the fact that I have not done a story time in a while. So I was thinking about it yesterday and I was like, you know what, I have not. So let me think of what's a good story time that I can tell you. And when I was thinking about, I talked about earlier the holidays, people get sad over the holidays, get sad in reference to being alone and things of that nature. Sometimes it's a blessing to be alone. So I'm gonna start off with that. So I'm gonna tell you about the time that I was actually like a side piece and didn't even know it. And it was crazy. But anyway, so I'm gonna tell you about that. But before I do that, you guys, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. If you like what you hear, please give me a thumbs up. That would help so much in reference to the video. Now back to the story. Okay, so I was working out. This happened a couple years ago. I was working out as I always do. And again, the workout's never been a problem for me. It's consistently eating. Oh, let me stop. It's my wine because I like it, right? But anyway, it's consistently eating that, or eating healthy that, kind of ebbs and flows with me more so with wine. But anyway, I was at the gym. I digress. I'm at the gym doing my regular workouts. And there's this guy at the gym. And you know how you see people, if you're a gym regular, you kind of know the gym regulars that are there when you're there, right? I went really early in the morning. I still go early in the morning, but at that time, I go at 4 now, or I get up at 4 and I'm there for 5. Before, I would get up at almost 2:30, 3 o'clock, which I know is a crazy time to work out. And I would be there by 3-ish because one of the guys that I worked out with, used to walk me through like weightlifting and things of that nature, he would get at the gym really early in the morning. So it just kind of worked out. And then I became a habit because I didn't like sharing the gym. But anyway, so I'm at the gym working out. There's another guy that would show up at the gym almost consistently. Well-built, handsome guy. I never thought about kind of dating this guy, even though I noticed he was very friendly, well-built. And one of the reasons I never thought about kind of dating or talking to this guy at all is because he went to the gym every day. This is where I kind of go every day for my stress relief. So my thought was kind of like dating at the office. If it does not work out, then it's going to be awkward coming there every day, seeing this dude, or having a conversation with this guy if it does not work out. So dating somebody that I work out with was never anything I ever wanted to do or even interested in, even though I thought this was an attractive guy. So he would talk. It was like about a year. We got to talking over weights, and over working out. And they weren't long conversations. They were very much, just really friendly conversations. He's like, okay, Val, you can lift heavy, you're consistent, things of that nature. How's your day? Whatever. So, I'm seeing him over the course of the year. So one day my workout partner was not there and this guy was there. So he was like, can I work in with you? Which was very rare. I always worked out with somebody different. So I was like, sure, because he wanted to do the bench, and I had the bench, and the other benches were taken as well. So I was like, yeah, you can work in with me. So as we're doing, working out, he finally says, he's like, I've been seeing you for a year. We've been talking for a year plus, and I still don't have your phone number, and we've never gone out. So I kind of laughed and said, you know what, and I think we were kind of flirting a little bit, but not extremely, because again, I was not interested in dating anybody that worked out at the same gym I worked at, and I just was not. So I kind of told him that, like, yeah, I know we talk or whatever, but if it didn't work out, or it could be a little awkward. So he started laughing. He's like, wait a minute, I'm not asking for a marriage or anything. I was just saying like dinner, let's go to dinner sometime. Let's talk outside of the gym every now and then. He's like, I'm not, asking for anything long-term. Then it made me feel kind of a lot like, you making way too much out of this. This dude just wants to, be friends. So I said, okay, maybe we can go out. And again, I thought the guy was really attractive. So it was not like I was not attracted to him. Again, my fear was that if something happened and then it did not work out, I'd still have to see him and it'd be awkward. But he made me feel really comfortable with his conversation, right? I was like, you know what, sure. So what he decided, he's like, let's go to lunch. So you won't think, that I'm trying to come on to you or anything like that. I was like, that's cool. We can do that. So we go to lunch, had a great lunch, laughed, joked, told him about my daughter. He told me about his daughter, told him what I do for a living. He told me, So I was like, this is pretty cool. But still my thought process was that I really did not want to date anybody I worked out with. I said, but we could be friends. So, let's say a month or so passed. We're still talking every day in the gym. When I'd see him every day in the gym, we're still talking. By then I had his phone number. He had mine. He would periodically call me, see how things were going. And let's say for whatever reason I was sick that day and didn't make it to the gym, he would call or check on me, but nothing to make me think that this dude is really coming on to me. It's just, oh, this is really cool. I got this male friend, right? So that kind of went on. And then one day it was summer. I'm living in Texas. It was really, really hot. I had, lived by myself at the time. I had my house. And I really love working outside. But this is one of those really, really hot summers where if you don't go outside and cut the yard early, it's almost too hot to cut the yard. And because I like working outside, I just decided to take care of my yard rather than have people do my yard for me, because it was just kind of a stress reliever for me. Anyway, so I go to the gym and I tell the guy about it, like, oh my goodness, it was like a Saturday. I was like, I've been here too long. The sun's about to come up. It's going to be too hot to cut the yard. And I really wanted to cut it today, that Saturday, as opposed to that Sunday. So he says, look, this is what I'll do. If you give me your address, and again, I've been talking to this guy now about a year and a half, off and on, but every day at the gym, but a year and a half. So I'm thinking we buddies, right? So he's like, if you give me your address, I have no problem cutting the yard in the heat. He's like, I was like, well, I probably won't be there. He's like, if you leave the lawnmower outside, I'll cut the yard, trim it, whatever. I'm thinking, okay, no problem. I've gone out on a date with this dude, to lunch. I've gone out to lunch with him. I talk to him all the time. That's really sweet. Really not thinking he's going to follow up on it, but just in case he does, I put the lawnmower in the backyard. The gate was unlocked. Of course, my house was locked, but I ended up doing something else that day because I had other errands I needed to run. So when I come back home, when I tell you my yard was cut and it was trimmed and the hedges were cut, and it was just, the yard looked amazing, right? And all he did was leave a card on the door saying, I hope it meets to your liking. I thought that was so sweet. I'm like, oh my God, he didn't even call me, like to get the accolades of, yeah, I cut your yard or whatever. He just, just kept it moving. So I sent him a text when I got home saying, thank you, that was really sweet. He said, you're welcome. Didn't follow up on that, like, can we do anything? Can we go anywhere? Whatever. Nothing, right? So I'm thinking I really have this friend. I thought, this is great. Fast forward, we're back at the gym. I was like, you know what? Let me take you out to dinner, because and still not thinking at all that a date or anything romantic, but he was so nice. And I'm just making this big deal out of this. And I got this little buddy, that we get along or whatever. I take him out to dinner and we're talking. So finally he comes with, Val, why don't we work on or see if we have any chemistry? He was like, I'm clearly attracted to you. I hope you're feeling me. And I want more than just the gym kind of conversation. He's like, it's been long enough now that you understand that I'm not going, no crazy man, or I'm not going to leave you hanging. So why not try it? So I'm sitting at the table. I was like, you know what? He is right. Because this has been a minute. This didn't happen for a short period of time. This has been a minute that we've talked and gone to lunch and came to the house and cut the yard and still talking. And, he periodically when he come to the gym, he's like, you know what? I picked up some breakfast, thought about you. And this was not on a everyday basis or ongoing basis. This was every now and then in reference to stuff like that. But still, I'm like, this dude is really cool. He's not going to, spaz out on me. This might be something. And again, I was always attracted to him. I just did not want a relationship with somebody I'd see often. But anyway, so I said, cool, we can do that. Let's try it and see. So me and this guy went out on like 2 dates. Great dates, great conversation. The third date, when I consider us dating, we're at dinner and I was like, you know what? I never asked you, how long have you been divorced? So, we're just talking, whatever. So I asked him that, and we continued to talk. And I don't know how the subject got changed when I brought up that question. So we're eating and I'm laughing, go to the restaurant, whatever. And as I'm in the restaurant, I was like, oh my goodness, he probably told me and I did not pay attention to how long he's been divorced, right? So when I got back to the table, I was like, you know what? I'm sorry. I know you answered this, but how long have you been divorced? Just trying to get to know him better. So he all of a sudden pauses the conversation, like he's in mid laughter, whatever. And he's like, so I'm thinking, what is wrong with this dude? What's the pause? Like, I don't get it. We're having this great conversation. What's the pause? So I say something I think is jokingly, right? Or I say it jokingly, but it turns out not to be a joke. I was like, yeah, right. Surely you're not still married. And he looks at me. So then I was like, you're married? He's like, yes. Okay. This is now honestly about a year and 6 months. Luckily, nothing has happened between me and this dude, right? But this is like a year and 6 months plus that I've been having ongoing conversation with this guy. I know that he has a daughter. I know his daughter has a little son. I know where he lives. This guy has taken me out, not in like hidden places, taking me out, we going to restaurants in public. And the area that we were living is kind of a smaller area. So he's taking me out there in the daytime. He's coming cutting my yard in the daytime. So I'm looking at him and thinking, so you're married. Like, I couldn't even process this, right? So my thought process immediately was, because this is stuff we're doing all during daytime. This is not hidden stuff. This is, we're doing, I'm calling him, he's calling me, all this other stuff. So I'm like, oh, y'all separated and you're working on the divorce? How long have you been separated? Again, he gives me that look. I'm like, wait a minute, wait. So I am completely thrown off. I was like, so you're married, you're not separated. I was like, you and your wife are still together and you're dating me? He looks at me, I kid you not, and said, yes. He's like, but I'm not happy. I said, what? What? He said, Val, I'm not happy. He's like, I don't understand why you're shocked about this. We have this great relationship. We're progressing and taking it to another level. I'm not happy in my marriage. Like, I don't plan on getting a divorce or anything, but you and I can still do what we're doing and see what this relationship takes us. I'm like, no, bruh. I don't know what kind of marriage you have. And I'm pretty sure it's not an open marriage. But it does not matter what kind of marriage you have. I don't date married men. I don't knowingly date married men. So he looked at me, and when I tell you he was shocked, he was shocked. So he looked at me like, wait a minute, Val. Not once did you ask me if I were married. He's right. I never asked. So my thought process, this is when I was naive to the game, right? And I think it's horrible that you have to know this, but my thought process was, dude, you were pursuing me. Like you would come to me. You would have these conversations with me on a daily. Yes, I would wave at the gym or whatever. You'd always come. So my assumption is if you're doing it in the open, that you must not be married. I didn't realize that was a question you have to ask, whether they're married or not. Because this dude's looking at me like, I don't understand why, you're so upset, and we can still work on this situation. Because you never asked me, was I married? I never lied to you. Okay, so he's right. My assumption is married men don't openly pursue women out in public. Maybe clearly you need somebody that's okay. First of all, you don't need to be doing it, but clearly you need somebody okay with being a side chick. I'm not that person. I'm not the one that's going to knowingly date a married man. That's just not me. So in the midst of this dude looks at me and says, I don't get that. I don't get why you're upset at this. So then he leans over and says, Val, are you a little retarded? I was like, what? He said, have you been abused? Are you a little retarded? Is something wrong with you that you don't understand what's going on or what I'm telling you, and yet you're acting like this? I'm concerned. Like, do you go to counseling? Y'all, if it wasn't for the fact that we were in this restaurant, and I'm not one to throw a fit anyway, right? But oh my God, are you kidding me? Like, you telling me that I have mental health issues or thinking that I might because I don't want to be with a married man. I don't care how fine you are, right? I mean, clearly what you're doing to her, you could do to me. I don't care what you have as far as in your bank account and all that other stuff. I'm not a side chick. I'm not knowingly a side chick. I'm not going to date a married man. And then to turn it around to say, it's my fault because I did not ask, and I didn't, you if you were married. Here's the thing. You took vows toward that woman. You have responsibilities toward that woman. You're the one cheating, right? I didn't know. And that is the difference. So he looked at me and he's like, yeah, I'm not sure what's wrong with you, but I hope you get some help. What, bruh? So I say, you know what? No worries. I'll catch the dinner. I'll pay for the dinner. No worries. We just call it a wash, and that's it. So I go to, like 2 days later, go back to the gym, see the dude. I mean, nothing changes about our schedule. And I absolutely made the right decision way at the beginning that I should never date anybody that I work out with, because it becomes a little awkward. So he's at the gym. Hey, Val, how's it going? Hey, whatever, I'm not heartbroken or anything, but what's up? So then he comes around and he's like, can we talk? We have nothing to talk about, dude. We're going to be the same Val, I almost said his name, Val, and let's say Tom, that we were before, and I'll see you on the other side of the gym. I'll wave and keep working out. He was like, well, I just thought about it. He thought about it, that weekend. He was like, and maybe you can talk to somebody, talk to some friends and get some help. He's like, I can help you so much with your house. First of all, my house was new. And even if it were not, I can handle it on my own. I'm good. I don't need a married man to help me with that, but maybe you could spend your energy on, working with your wife in your marriage. So he looked at me and he's like, see, you don't have to be ugly. Like, you're being ugly for no reason. So I talked to my friends, you guys, and I was like, is that normal? Because I was single by then, right? I was like, is it normal for married people to openly pursue people and get offended when the person does not want to date you because you're married? So a couple girlfriends of mine at the time said, Val, unfortunately, you do have to ask. So if you get nothing from this conversation, just because they're pursuing you, don't mean they're single. And one of the questions that I asked, well, I'm married now, so I don't ask, but after him, anybody that seemed like they were trying to pursue me, one of my first questions were, are you married? And some people's like, well, if I were married, I wouldn't pursue you. That's not necessarily the case with everybody. I would think there would be, but that's not the case. So anyway, that is my story time. Unfortunately, it's not super funny, but it's super real that, you know, when I decided that I was not going to be the side piece, the assumption was I had mental health issues. So, and I might, but it is not, it has nothing to do with not wanting to date or marry me. But anyway, if you have any questions, let me know. Sometimes it's a blessing to be single. I'm going to just throw that out there. And I will see you guys in the next video, though.